Pain, it takes away the very essence of who you are. It just drains it. So let's talk about different ways to manage pain. So, first of all, remember that today has to be filtered through what's appropriate for you. So, for example, imprint this in your brain: motion is lotion for your body. But obviously, think of after my husband got amputation, he's not going to be outside walking the day after amputation. It took months, and he's still focused on it. And so make sure whatever movement you're doing for your body to keep it lubricated is appropriate for you. Now, we've talked about on our morning walks together, you and I, we've talked about the fact that walking is one of my favorites. Walking, building up to being able to walk for 60 minutes. Good morning, good morning. Because 9 out of 10 of us are insulin resistant. And when you're insulin resistant, you can't build optimal health. And walking is the best way for insulin and to make your cell receptive to that insulin. Because when the insulin is not going in the cell, your body communicates, make more insulin. And then you've got all this free floating insulin, and you can't build health on top of that. So, one of my very favorite ways, and the most effective way that I've seen people reverse that, is to walk for an hour. 60 minutes of walking helps to reverse that insulin resistance, and it lubricates your body. Now, some of you might be experiencing so much pain that you're like, that's ridiculous. I'm not talking about the type of pain like, boom, we're just going to make it gone. I'm talking about setting up a strong foundation to help you mitigate the pain. And if you do have long-term pain, helping your body to do as much as it can to take care of it. So, movement, whatever is appropriate for you. Motion is lotion for your body. So, movement. The second thing I want to talk about is your NMDA receptor site, N-methyl D-aspartate. We all have them, and it's this receptor site. And calcium keeps it open, and magnesium closes it. It is very much dictated by the voltage in your body. And most of us, unless we're soaking in magnesium, and remember, we're going to do that 30-day challenge together in August, most of us are calcium dominant, and we need to be magnesium rich, have our environments in our body be magnesium rich. Because when we're magnesium rich, that voltage in our body can open and close things. So let's say you've got pain and you're calcium dominant, and most people are. It's a current issue that we have going on, just like insulin resistance. You're calcium dominant, then is what happens is that sensory of pain goes to that NMDA, N-methyl D-aspartate receptor site, and it can't turn that off because the calcium's kept it open. So maybe the pain is gone, but your body is still sending impulses because it doesn't have enough magnesium to shut the door to the pain. Now, I'm not saying if you've got massive chronic pain, soak in magnesium and it goes away. It's not what I'm saying. When my husband, and I keep referring to that, but that's the most pain I've ever seen anybody experience. When he had that, it would have been so dismissive if I would have said, oh, soak in magnesium to manage your pain. I did say soak in magnesium to help keep those NMDA receptor sites functioning, to help your body do what it needs to do. So keeping your magnesium levels up. Now, the other thing is sunshine. Has anyone noticed since adding more sunshine to your life that your inflammation is going down? Anytime that we have less inflammation, our bodies can manage acute pain coming in better. So let's say you fall and hit your knee. Your body can manage that pain better, and less inflammation means less long-term pain. So in my 20s, I was diagnosed with 2 different types of arthritis. And I sometimes still get flares. I used to hate that. Oh my gosh. I would get so angry. Like, I do so many things to mitigate this. It's not fair. I should be healthier. And I realized I was asking the wrong question. And the better question that I started asking is, what can I learn from this pain? What is this pain, this arthritis pain for me, teaching me? And I realized I have a level of gratitude for that pain now because it keeps me on track. The pain motivates me to do a castor oil pack, to not eat corn. I love tortilla chips. I love them. But corn aggravates my pain. It's not worth it to me because that corn increases my inflammation. And when my inflammation is increased, my arthritis pain shows up. So that pain has actually really helped to keep me on the better path. So now I have a completely different relationship with that pain. I know it sounds kind of dorky, but it worked for me. So I want you to try it. If you have pain, instead of being so frustrated and tighten up, I want you to ask yourself, what can I learn from this pain? What's it teaching me? How is it benefiting me? And I had to learn how to create gratitude that my body was giving me feedback, because we need that feedback, right? To be healthy. So my body was giving me feedback, and then I was furious at it that it wasn't the feedback that I wanted. And so I ignored the feedback. So now I embrace that feedback. I know that when my arthritis pain increases, I need to look at my cortisol, my diet, my sleep, my movement, and my nutrients. And it's a reminder for me to do that. So that NMDA receptor site works when you have a magnesium-rich environment. You remember, not yesterday, because I needed sleep over walking yesterday. But the day before, I think we talked about lymph. The more hydrated your lymph is, the less pain that you have, because that lymph helps keep everything moving. And hydration is key to that. I'll never forget one time I was laying in a hospital bed after my big crash with my health and a surgery that they put titanium in me. And I have Melissa syndrome, so I reacted to the titanium, was one of the things. And I was in so much pain. And the nurse came in, and I thought she was coming in to bring me more pain medicine. And I wanted it. And when she went to leave, I said, wait, aren't you here for my next pain meds. And she said, actually, no, here's what I want you to do. I want you to drink this water. I want you to take some really deep breaths, and let's see if we can bring that pain down with your body's natural defenses. And guess what? I was angry at her because I felt diminished. I felt not listened to, but that was my own issues coming up. It wasn't her. So I did it, and it did help. It did. Like, oh my gosh, because it helped my body's natural pain ability, managing that pain to increase. Now, with that being said, don't you dare go to compare and contrast. Well, you can, but I hope you don't. After amputation, do you think that I could have just said to my husband, oh, just breathe and drink this water, and that's going to help your pain? Heck no. We were so grateful for that medication. We were so grateful for alternative medications to get him off that medication, because that pain medicine has benefit, but it also has downsides in your body, and you have to do what's appropriate for you. Now, that long-term, low-lying pain, a lot of times you can experience diminishing it by better breathing, more appropriate movement, higher magnesium levels. Because when your pain goes up, you lose the very mineral that you need to manage that NMDA receptor site. And so making sure, if you do have pain, that you're soaking more often to offset the higher magnesium loss is really important. Now, another thing that can really help, and it really ties into the movement, the sunshine, the magnesium, and the lymph that we've been, my shoulders. I increased my weights that I've been doing. The phone feels very heavy this morning. So one of the things that I do, so I have some spots on my knee that are bone on bone. They're getting better, slowly. Sometimes they hurt if I push it too much. And so one of my favorite tools is castor oil packs for pain management. I love castor oil packs because, let's say the pain in my knee, it can get stuck in inflammation and it's not moving. So the lymph is there to help it, but sometimes it gets stuck, increasing the pain in my knee. And so one of the things that I do are castor oil packs. You can do them hot or cold. Here's what you want to look for. You want to look for we don't sell it anymore. We just don't have the space in our warehouse to hold everything, but we're really close. We just signed a letter of intent, so we have one more contract to go through. A great big huge warehouse for us. Cross our fingers, and it would be like April of 2022. Anyway, so we'll bring some more things back, but we had to let this go. But castor oil, and you want to look for organic and cold pressed. You want to look for both of those. And you want to make sure that the rag or towel that you're using is organic, because castor oil is ricinoleic. Ooh, it's getting really windy. I bet that's hard to hear. Castor oil is ricinoleic acid. It's the only oil that is built up of that fatty acid, and it pulls everything. So, for example, if your towel has chemicals in it, it will pull those chemicals into your bloodstream. We don't want that. So I couldn't find it locally. So I just ordered some organic wool flannel, and I soak it in the castor oil. And then if you want to do it cold, you can just wrap it around your liver, your lower back, around my knee, and put something over it or tie it on to help it stay in place for a good 90 minutes or longer. And that's a cold castor oil pack, or you can heat it up. It's a little bit more work, but so much more efficient. And I get more benefit from it to do a heated one. And that's where you turn your oven on low and you heat your castor oil up as hot as you can get it and still be able to touch it. And then you put that on. Then you put a towel on over that. You can put a hot water bottle to help hold the heat. And you use it hot. And sometimes I do the cold. There's a lot of doctors, naturopath doctors right now, really pushing the cold benefit. It's easier, and it is easier. But when that knee is throbbing, the warmth of that castor oil pack is so incredibly soothing that I tend to go toward the one that takes a little bit more time with the heat. You do want to allow it to be utilized for 90 minutes. And if you do it on your liver, you want to make sure that you are really hydrated and drink a lot of water afterwards. I like to just lay on the couch, just be. So I want to know, what was the most helpful for you of those things that we talked about, building a strong foundation and helping your body to manage pain? What was helpful? What was beneficial? What one do you see yourself using? Share with me. And I'll get up to this rock right here and we'll do our 1 minute of breathing together at the end, because that deep breath, and I want you to try this while we breathe, matching it. If you can hear the crash of the waves, you might not be able to with the wind. Matching your breath to the roll of the waves. And I want you to go up and hold it for 1 second or 2 seconds, and then out. But I want you to close your mouth when you do it. So you're going to breathe up. Think of an elevator going clear to the top, holding it, pushing it out, going down to the bottom, holding it, and then next breath. There's all sorts of different types of things that you can do for that breathing, but that's one of my favorites. Another one that you can do is think of a flashlight. So like, think of you're holding a flashlight and you're shining it all over your body as you breathe. And the oxygen is moving wherever that flashlight moves. And there's been studies done that show when you add that mindfulness along with it, that it increases the oxygen levels in your body. And anytime we increase oxygen levels in our body, it helps us mitigate pain, because pain walks you away from who you are. It's a thief. And we want to build a strong foundation in our body to manage that pain. Oh, Kathy, I love that. Yes, walking for insulin resistance. And sometimes, Pat, people overexercise. So let's say they're insulin resistant and it's not working in their body, and they're runners. They can actually bypass the insulin going into their cells because of the stress of running on their body. Now, they might still get that runner's high, but the walking keeps the cortisol down and allows that insulin and that cell to become more receptive. Okay, so have you got in your mind some mindfulness that you can do while you're breathing? Okay, so I'm going to think of the elevator while you're breathing, and we're going to breathe together. And I like to think sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Because as we expose ourselves to the morning light and the evening light, it creates a wave in our cell. And that wave is energy for the mitochondria. Anytime we create better mitochondrial health, everything gets better in our body. So, boom, I'm going to stop. Let's go. You ready? Sunrise, sunset. Here we go. Ah, wasn't that increased mindfulness really nice on your breathing? So many different little layers that we can add to increase the oxygen in our body. When we increase oxygen in our body, we help inflammation levels. When we decrease inflammation, we increase our body's ability to manage pain, whether it's acute or chronic pain. Can't wait for tomorrow. It's Friday. It's Share Magnesium Friday. Like, that's kind of a corny name, but I can't think of anything better. So we've got 2 more Fridays that will share magnesium. And I do want to put a little disclaimer out. It is people within the United States. We had to shut down our Canada shipping. It just was a nightmare and not working. Now, there was a person who was in Canada, and because I didn't say that, I will honor it and send it. But from now on, it's in the United States. So on Fridays, I love to share magnesium. It's my favorite when people go, I never win anything. And we blast through that limited belief and say, well, you did today. So if you want to be a part of that, you can text 435-213-9048. And you have to text good life. No exclamation points, no smiley faces, just good life. And when you text that, it will send you a little link. Guess what? Friends know each other's names. And if you don't put your name on that list, I manually pull you off of that list. And that's just a way to protect me from trolls. I dealt with that in the fall. And so I've put up some boundaries to protect myself from trolls. Because, think of your friends. You know their names. I want to know your name. Because we're friends. We hang out in the morning and walk. And I can't wait to hang out tomorrow with you. See you then.